Hi, Brendan.
Hello, Dom.
How are you? I think I've got everything
Hello, good
switched on.
afternoon.
Yeah, great. Camera, mic, it's all on. Excellent.
I can hear you. I can see you. Lovely to meet you. I've heard so much about you from Jane and Raj.
Thanks.
Right, Dom. Lovely to meet you. Like I said, I've heard about you from Jane and Raj, and congratulations. Well done on passing everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Well, I didn't dare let myself get excited after the interview. So I was, for the whole week, I was trying to prepare myself for a rejection. And Andrew and Raj were saying, and Jane was saying, no, you'll be okay. You'll be
Mhm.
okay. Just enjoy it. And then when I got the email, it popped up and Kirsten was right next to me and I was just reading it. And it takes a while for it to sink in. And I thought, oh, there it is. Congratulations. You're through to the next bit or the vetting or you've passed. It's now feeling better than it did then. After 3 days, I'm starting to reflect on it a little bit and I'm allowing myself to get very excited. Yeah, it feels really good.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Well, listen, well done. You've done the hard work. One of the things that you might have heard me say on previous webinars or on the course is that, we'll show you the way. You've got to do the hard work, and you've clearly done the hard work, and it's paid off.
I just I saw that on one of your early seminars.
No, it's all right. It's
It said, yeah, we won't give you the answers. We'll coach you, but you have to put the work in. And one of the first ones I remember seeing from you is that you said, you go to the gym, not anymore, you don't. You go and see your friends, no, you don't. This is what you do. You work on this. And I thought, right. And it said, let all these seminars wash over you, get into them, immerse yourself in all the videos. And I did that, put them all on podcasts and listen to them all. And it makes a huge difference. So you live it, which I don't see I don't see what other way, how else I would have been able to get that experience without going this route.
awesome. That's great to hear. So, how did you feel? Just to catch a bit of a testimonial, how did you feel before you actually approached us about the whole recruitment process?
Well, I was having a search online about people who could help with the application process, and Bluelight was coming up again and again. And then I watched some of your videos, and I thought, yeah, this sounds clear. This sounds like the sort of thing I could understand. And then when I learned about your background, you explained your background in policing compared to other providers didn't have that. They were fairly generic. And I thought, okay, these people are the specialists. And so then I did the discovery call and I thought, oh yeah, this seems like the real deal. They're taking the time to actually see if the client's needs can be met by them, if it's going to be a good fit. And as soon as I had my first then proper chat with Jane, I was like, yeah, I'm in the right place here. It was good, really good.
Awesome. So, how did you find the support from? What one thing would you describe as being making the difference in terms of you passing the online assessment centre?
Well, I think there was more support available than I needed or that I needed to take. So there was a redundancy there, and that felt very reassuring. And all the coaches said, if there's anything you want to know, just message, whatever. There was a whole back catalogue of excellent seminars, which I love listening to, and they were incredibly powerful. And then, so on top of that, you had your own seminars of which you could attend, and then you had your private one-to-one coaching. I've soon felt after about 2 or 3 sessions, I thought, don't get your hopes up, but you can't fall off this. You can't get this wrong. If you keep going and doing the steps, you will get there. And it was about 2 weeks or probably 10 days before my OAC that I started to think, I think I know what's going on now. Like the fog had lifted, the pieces was fitting into place. I was starting to think in the right way, starting to enjoy it. And in my spare time, I was starting to look at material as well. I thought, oh, this is a good sign. And then by the time the OAC came around, I was ready to do it because you have a whole week. And I wanted to thought, I can get this done on day one. I thought, no, just take your time. And I did them one after the other when I had the time. And I was actually looking forward to dealing with them. So I suppose for me, the big thing for me, after with all that, is I have a tendency to overthink things and
Mhm.
forget the basics. And well, I get the okay, then I keep moving forward, and I forgot the important the fundamentals actually. And the coaches are very good at keeping you with the right mindset, keeping it on
Yeah,
task, not getting carried away, but also allowing you to develop as well. So that was really important for me. They kind of cut through the clutter and gave me a really strong framework to work with, which you can then adapt to other situations or other questions that come up. So
brilliant,
yeah,
awesome,
I
love.
was really impressed overall. And another thing I really liked was the fact that you could always reach somebody really quickly. So whether it was the
Mhm.
coaches or whether it was Emily who deals with the admin in the back office, it was very fast, bang bang bang, and whatever you were dealing with was stitched up in about 10 minutes, and then you're on to the next thing. It was fab.
Brilliant, awesome, that's great. So, got through the online assessment centre, and then it's time to prepare for the final interview. How did that go? I believe you worked with Raj.
I did, yeah, work with Raj and Andrew on that one, and the final interview is something. Of course, it's always there, like the end level boss, but I wasn't letting myself look forward to it until I got the OAC out the way, and then I think we had 2 weeks to prepare once I got the
Mhm.
results from the OAC, and that felt like the final year of study in a degree versus the previous 2 years. It was a bit more, you're off on the wild. This is the framework, this is how you think about it. It's going to be a little bit more up to you how you do it, rather than this is the structure that you need to fit into. This is a bit more all about you. So I found I wasn't rehearsing so much because you don't know what you're going to be asked, you don't know how
Mhm.
the day's going to go. But it was really about being clear with the structure that Raj and Andrew had given me. And so I remember by the time it was the scenario part of the interview came up, I was actually quite not excited to do it, but I thought, yeah, I'm enthusiastic about giving this a really good go, and got in there, and the time just flew by. I thought this is going to be 10 minutes, filling a brief of 10. It's going to be quite difficult doing a 10-minute brief and not repeating myself. But I found that I went through it nice and structured in the way that Raj had explained, and then by the time it got through to the questions, the 15 minutes, 7.5 minutes from each officer, it just flew by, and they suddenly went, "Well, time's up." Is that it? Yeah. Yeah. So felt very confident with that. I would have froze for 45 minutes. I know that in the preparation room, I wouldn't have known where to start. But you got all these bits of information. There's about 7 or 8 of them. This story which is going back and forth, but then you apply the framework and it just starts to slot into place, and you're kind of thinking, this is almost not too easy, but this is almost enjoyable. And then with the interview, that was the toughest part of the day for me, because brilliant. I've got 2 people in front of me now. This is going to be a little bit easier because you're going to get a bit of feedback from them. And then the first thing they say is,
Mhm.
well, you're going to be talking to us, but you're going to be looking at the tops of our heads because we're going to be writing down everything you say. And so you start talking, and they're just doing this, and then you don't know. You stop, and they just kind of pause in the pen there, and they look at you. Oh, do you want me to say anything else? So that was quite tricky, and I was being tough on myself. I thought I've mangled that. I've not done it right, but I did answer every question, and I answered every question fully. And I did ask them once. I said, "Can you give me a follow-up question? Can you give me a prompting question?" And they said, "Of course." And they just asked gave me one extra bit. And then the next time I asked her a prompting question, she said, "Well, you've already given us 3 things, and I've written them down. So you've given us an answer. Thank you." And then they're on to the next one. So I remember the 10 minutes of that going in. You haven't got long to prepare, and there's 6 questions, and you get to preview them. I've got like about a minute and a half for
Mhm.
each question here, and that could make you freeze a little bit. But 2 of them are from the
Yeah.
OAC, that you could apply from the OAC, and having that so well rehearsed and so not well rehearsed actually, but the points and the order and the emphasis and the things that they're looking for, having those up front and clear in your mind really helps, because then you could adapt that. So that's 2 questions out of the way. Then one of them's an
Yeah.
icebreaker, which we rehearsed, or we didn't rehearse it, we just went through it. And Andrea
Yeah.
highlighted these are the important things that you must get across, and this is why you must get it across. And then so now you're down to 3 questions. And the way Andrew explained it, she said, you're building up a toolkit of important things you know about, certain concepts, and you can slot them in at certain times. And that's what I did, and it worked. So even
Brilliant.
though I was tough on myself, yeah, I answered the whole thing, spoke for 45 minutes, and yeah. And I wasn't
That's
totally
amazing.
surprised. Yeah. And when they said you passed, I wasn't gobsmacked. I was thinking, I deserved that, actually. You know.
Yeah, yeah, you worked for it. Yeah, you worked hard for it. Brilliant. So, what do you feel would have happened if we'd not been there to support you?
I I probably would have failed the national sift for a start, but then with the OAC, I just wouldn't have passed it. I know I wouldn't have done it. I would not have done the. I wouldn't have made the. Actually, the briefing on that one would have been the one where I really would have fallen down, because that's quite rapid
Mhm.
fire, and you don't have long. So again, having the framework and understanding the key things of what you're trying to achieve, you just keep returning them. You know, what am I trying to do here? You keep returning back to them and back to them. And the Bluelight Academy, what that gave me was an understanding of what you're trying to achieve in policing, rather than this is what you should be saying, because that can fall away under stress, the things that you've just been told. But when you
Mm.
understand it, you know what you're trying to achieve, and you can keep working back towards that goal. So I would not have passed that. And the written bit, I could have probably fudged my way through it. Just again, it wouldn't have looked
Yeah,
as good. The interviews I would have failed, I'm sure about that. But I scored highly on them. I think I got
brilliant.
85% on the interviews and 88% on the other thing, the other bit. And yeah,
Awesome.
and that,
Yeah.
and in terms of going for the interview, it would have just been it would have been terrifying without that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good to hear. That's amazing. Yeah, that's really reassuring for me just to hear, how well it went for you, and that kind of feedback. It sort of, warms the heart a little bit, because, it feels like everything's gone to plan.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, feels like everything's gone to plan. So let me just ask this question then. So I'm always interested in the one thing. I love that phrase, the one thing. So what would you say is the one thing that was stand out in terms of the service from start to finish?
The one thing is and this is something that really stood out for me, and it was the actual content and the unification of the message, of the way
Mhm.
policing should be and what has worked for policing in the past. And that was consistent all the way through the seminars, all the way through the approach to the written, to the verbal brief, also, of course, to the scenario. And it was in your Vimeo videos on the Academy, the Gold Academy and the Platinum Academy as well. There's this
Mhm.
constant thread running through. And I can't remember what I was reading. I was reading something that was outside of blue light, and they were talking about trying to get to these standards. And I thought, I'd know this because this is what I've been studying for the last 2 months. So I suppose it's a philosophy, really, that
Mm.
came out, and that I wasn't expecting to find. I genuinely feel that I've learned a lot in 2 months, not just gone through a process. I do feel like I know stuff now, and it's made me actually look at the police in a different way, and made me feel different about the job I'd be going into in a different way as well. And also the way that I think that people might feel about the police. Because one of the things I did wonder before is, oh, what are people going to think about me if I join the police? And now I really have a different opinion on that. It's something that I've been
Mm.
very, very proud to be doing. And I had not heard of the Pelian, principles, actually. But you referred to them again and again, and I looked at them. I thought, oh, they're absolutely fantastic. So it was the philosophy and the unification of that was marvelous.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, sometimes I forget that one of the things we really want to focus on is not just preparing you for your interview, but preparing your mindset for being a police officer, so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that one day you can resign or retire with honor. And I think there's a big
Yeah.
difference between just resigning or retiring and resigning or retiring with honor. And it's that
Mm.
having an honorable service that I think is really important to us, enabling people to have that mindset and have the courage to see that through all the way through their career, because there's going to be some tough times, and there'll be a temptation to maybe cut corners or not challenge where you should, or but I know that you get to the end of your career and think, I could have done more there. And I hope with that philosophy, it will steer you in the right direction in terms of always knowing, well, sometimes not knowing, but always feeling like you're going to do the right thing. And look, you know, this offer is meant from my heart as well, that if you're ever at a point in your career and you're thinking, I just don't know who to turn to and I'm not quite sure what to do here, turn to us. You know, turn to us and we'll be quite happy to have a conversation with you. You know, you're part of our blue light cadre now. You're stuck with us for a long time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but if you're ever stuck on anything, then just reach out and, you know, really from my heart, you know, if we can help in any way, we will. We will. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, listen, I look forward to seeing you again, because it's not goodbye. It's you know, a very short chat, but I look forward to seeing you in our Blue Light alumni and helping you to prepare for the next stages, whether that's through our free webinars or any services that we can do that are more intense. But from everything that Andrea, Raj, and Jane have said, you can have an amazing career. You know, we're there to support you, but you've got plenty of support in the force. But you know, do amazing things, and I know you will. From talking to the rest of my team, you are going to do amazing things. You're going to achieve amazing things. You're going to have some incredibly proud moments, lots of them, and you're going to stay the course. And you're going to eventually one day resign or retire with honor, with a whole load of stories behind you in terms of what you've done to help influence and change people's lives for the better. I know that's true, Dom. And I look forward to seeing you on one of our future webinars where we can help support you through the rest of your amazing career.
Well, I'll definitely be there. No, thanks so much. And just hearing all that, that's a second thing which I could have gone on with saying one thing that stands out. But the second thing, close second, is the motivational side of this. It really pumps you up to want to go out there and do an excellent job, and to, and to be really excited about it. And just yesterday, well, actually on the dog walk this morning, my wife Kirsten said, "Oh, how are you feeling about going? You know, starting, because it's going to be quite soon." Actually, I said, "I'm really excited. I really can't wait for it to crack on now." So I'm just so glad I took this whole direction. But yeah, I would definitely be sticking around with Blue Light. So thanks so much, Brendan.
Excellent, great. Oh, one last question then, if I can. So what message would you give to people who maybe, you know, they're in the Facebook group, they've perhaps read the Trustpilot reviews and they're thinking, that sounds too good to be true. What's the one message you'd give them?
Do it, because it's a proper upskill, and whether you use it for joining the police or just to move forward professionally, it's proper training. Yeah, it's the real deal. So you won't forget it. You'll integrate it. You'll take it on board. So take the plunge. It is I can't think of a faster, more powerful way to upskill. So do it. And once you start, you might feel all at sea with some of the components of the OAC, whatever. Just keep chipping away. Just do what's in front of you. Listen to your coaches. You will get there. And by the end, it will all seem so clear. Yeah, don't hesitate. Is the sooner you get in, the sooner you're learning, is what I would say. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Thanks, Dom. And like I said, this isn't goodbye. This is just like welcome to the rest of the journey, and we're there with you all the way. So I look forward to seeing you at some point and hearing some stories about your initial training and your first days out on the streets.
Oh yeah.
Keep in touch and let us know. We love to hear we'd love to hear about all your proud moments. Send us a photograph of your passing out parade. You know, keep in touch. We're there for you. Right. Brilliant. Dom, you've warmed my heart today.
Oh, likewise.
Awesome meeting you. And I look forward to catching up with you at some point in the future.
Thanks so much, Brendan. Yeah, take care. Chat to you soon. Bye.